making sure the alignment is good for the arms and shoulders. So we're lifting one leg, stepping the foot beside a hand. Take that same hand up and then plant the hand and lift back. So this is like a downward facing dog when we lift the leg and then we're stepping forward and lifting the hand away, just getting some movement combinations working together, more of a coordination thing. Whenever the weight of the body is really loaded on the wrists, make sure when you come forward, the shoulders are over the wrists or even slightly behind the wrist. Even I'm working on that. So that's been my practice lately, just so that there's no excessive strain in the shoulders and the wrists. So we're stepping forward and lifting, just really warming. And the practice here for me is to keep the chest broad and my spine feeling long. Just moving slowly. You can move quicker if you feel like it. I'm just moving the spine here, really feeling my shoulder blades supporting me. It's all about connection, containment. So I take a shorter stance here. I'm bending the knees underneath the hips, kind of like a child's pose, sort of tabletop movement combo. So I've taken one hand away, and I'm going to switch, take the other hand away. So I'm noticing that I'm shifting the weight of the body, just letting the body and the mind, the nervous system register this. So eventually I'm going to move with the feet. So hands are planted. I'm taking one foot away at a time. Then eventually I'm going to be taking one foot away and the opposite hand away, which helps me flip, eventually belly up. So you'll notice I'm just sitting back in a child's pose, coming forward, just moving and stretching, no rush at all. So now I'm going to take opposite foot and hand away and just do a little shift eventually. Just notice how that helps me flip forward and back, back and forward. Take your time. These are movements that just take practice, and I'm practicing just getting used to and not overthinking. Make sure you're breathing, make sure you're not straining, and always check that there isn't wear and tear feelings in the shoulders and the wrists. So make sure your shoulders and wrists are feeling really warm. So now I'm belly up. My fingers are pointing mostly back here. And I'm just dropping the hips and lifting, getting a feeling of that movement, swinging the hips down and up. Then I'm going to flip back over. Just play with it, flipping back. So this is where just check that the shoulders are okay. Fingertips are spread wide. Noticing the angle of your hands, really important too. Just shifting and bearing weight in different points. So we'll flip back over. So any of these positions, you can kind of hang out a little bit longer. These are only demonstrations. So just practicing moving here, front and back. So this does require quite a bit of shoulder mobility. Slow is always better. So it's an ongoing practice here. So I'm moving into a downward facing dog here. Lifting one leg up. So now I'm going to step that foot beside the hand, take the elbow back, and then my back foot's tapping the front heel. And then step back, and then take yourself back to a downward facing dog. So I'm lifting the leg, stepping foot beside the front hand, elbow up, and the back foot comes forward, taps that heel, and then step back. You can kind of add any movements you like. Sometimes I'll add a push-up here. Just different combinations. The focus here is just allowing the body to move in a challenging way, but again, I'm going to say be aware of strain. So I'm in a downward facing dog again. I like to bend the knees to hover. And stretch the arms, chest down. Just keep checking in. Okay, so now I'm in a tabletop position, hovering the knees, shoulders over wrists, and I'm taking opposite hand away again. Maybe shifting the weight of the body to the heels every so often. Just getting an idea of where the weight is distributed. Just letting the mind and the nervous system connect. Constant movement, shifting and feeling at your own pace, definitely at your own pace. Just noticing that sense of relationship with gravity in the body. It's really what this is all about. Just learning to load the joints carefully, but with freedom. So when I flip over, sometimes I'll lift the hips and reach back, drop the hips, drop the elbow, and then flip over again. This is totally optional. And so flip over, lift the hips and reach an arm back. You can look down when you do that, drop the hips and elbow, and then flip. Just make sure the movement just feels good in your body. So now I'm stepping 1 foot forward, same elbow comes up, tap back foot to front heel, and then step back. I really like this combination. The coordination is starting to feel a little bit more natural to me. So I'm just sharing my personal practice here. One of the differences here is downward dog and then lifting the leg up high. So we flip the dog, we call it, and drop the hips, and then lift the hips if you like. If you've ever done this in yoga. Now flipping it over, I'm still working on this, and then I've kicked through. So a similar pattern to when we have the knees bent, doing that under switch. So I've lifted the leg here, bent the knee, just like a flip the dog motion. I land the foot, drop the hips, and then lift and reach back. Drop the hips and elbow and flip over, still working on making that smooth, and that lifted leg kicks through. Just playing with this. Again, as I've been saying, just be aware of how your joints are feeling. You're really finding, especially when you flip, controlled movements. Just moving in more of a downward facing dog based switch. So hips drop and then flip over. So I'm just moving here in a different pattern. Step forward, combining here, and back to plank down dog, stepping forward. So it's just combining some of the movements, adding a push-up. I've kicked through, kind of jumped back. So I'm so used to the yoga pattern, so this is just play.